it for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K, on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
S-I-C-K,
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. CF Montreal Talk.
Here's the chance. They've got the goal. Absolutely incredible. Cameron Porter a goal to send Montreal Impact into the CONCACAF Champions League semi-final.
The sickest CF Montreal podcast. Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. Playground, your premier gaming destination. Complete Striker. And Enov Sport.
De collaborer avec Innov Sport, une compagnie d'ici afin de dynamiser l'apprentissage et la pratique du sport pour tous et partout.
Les différents produits permettent de rester actif tout en développant sa confiance, son autonomie et sa technique. Des produits efficaces, progressifs et personnalisés avec le logo de votre école.
Innov Sport, pour tous et partout.
It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast, CF Montreal Talk. We're actually talking Euro 2024, and it was a big game between Germany and Spain, which finished probably about 7 or 8 minutes ago. We absolutely saw everything that there was to see in this game. We saw a goal from Spain, which silenced the crowd. We saw an equalizing goal from Germany, which got everyone excited again. And we saw extra time. And what we thought was going to be penalty kicks, actually at the 118-minute mark, it was Marino who ends up scoring what turned out to be the game-winning goal for Spain. Shades of Fabio Grosso back in 2006 at the World Cup, which was played actually in Germany. And it was a semifinal game a little bit later on in the tournament. It was Italy versus Germany. That one there was a 0-0 tie when Grosso scored at the 118-minute mark and Del Piero scored at the 120 to end the game. This one here was a 1-1 tie and Marino scoring at, once again, the 118-minute mark, which ended up being the game-winning goal. Devastation for Germany, who thought at one point that there should have been a handball on Cucurella. We'll talk about it right now without further ado, and I'm not going to keep him very long because in about 10 minutes' time, his Portugal is set to take on France, but he's with me for at least 10 minutes, I think, from Couscous Piri Piri. Nilton Jorge, what's going on?
Oh my God, this is so stressful. Those 10 minutes, it's so long. So let's do the max of it.
Yes. We'll talk about your Portugal if we have a chance here. But really, why don't we do this? Let's bring up the starting 11 for Spain in this game. We'll bring up the starting 11 for Germany as well. All right, okay, there you have it. For Spain, it's Simon. It's Lenormand with Laporte as center backs. Carvajal at right back. Cucurella at left back. A central midfield of Rodri with Pedro on his right and Ruiz on his left. And up front in a 4-3-3 formation, Morata is your forward and Lamine Yamal coming off right wing and Nico Williams coming off left wing for Luis de la Fuente Castillo's side. For Germany, Manuel Neuer in goal, the center backs of Ta and Rudiger with Kimmich at right back and Rom at left back. Kroos and Can right in front of the back line with Gundogan and Sané on his right, Musiala on his left, and Kai Havertz up top in a 4-2-3-1 formation for Julian Nagelsmann's team. A key injury to Spain early on. What was it, 5 or 6 minutes in to Pedri, who makes contact with Kroos, and Pedri leaves the game. Unbelievable stat. You ready for this one, Nilton? Pedri has missed 85 games due to injury in the last 3 years. 85.
Yeah, he played a lot before. He made almost a year full of soccer because he was playing for the Olympics. Maybe that hurt him in the medium and long term. But that no call on yellow card changed everything about the game. The referee was pretty was a little bit aggressive after that with all the calls, trying to make up for that non-call. And the handball at the end of the game, I need to rewatch and to think and to try to understand why the VAR didn't take that call back.
Well, if I can, Nilton, I'm going to tell you, this is going to be one of those calls where it's going to be 50-50 across the board. You're going to have 50% of the soccer world saying that should have been a penalty. You're going to have 50% saying not. By the new rules by UEFA, my understanding going into the tournament, it's not a penalty kick because of the arm is away from you and you're actually, it's more ball to hand than hand to ball. Having said that, you have to look at the play and say that if it doesn't touch Cucurella's hand, it's probably going in.
My understanding it's if the arm extends the shape of the body and it's not natural as a placement of the arm, it should be called or at least be reviewed. What I'm surprised it's being reviewed pretty fast. So the call was made on the field and the review was made pretty fast on the VAR system. So that call changed something. It's going to be the talk for the next days on Germany. And the talk will be how Germany that starts so well that tournament with the two first games and even the third game, how a team that was in home, no stress with the results, doing everything that need to do to be successful, and then at the one game it struggles against Spain that wasn't so hard to beat.
So you see a different background here. You don't see the backdrop of Sick Podcast. You're probably wondering where I am. And today I am at Winnie's on Crescent Street in downtown Montreal. It's terrace season is here at Sir Winston's. Winnie's is always a fun time. In the center of the action, enjoy happy hour from 5 to 7 with complimentary hors d'oeuvres at the buffet 5 days a week. See you at Winnie's on Crescent. I actually had a chance to bump into the lovely Vanessa and the lovely Gina who are here to watch Euro 2024 action. You got to love it. And Larry Shapiro, who's a Facebook friend, has actually came down to watch as well. People are starting to make their way into Winnie's. Some were already here before to watch the game. And others, of course, are entering to watch Cristiano Ronaldo, who's about ready to enter the pitch for his Portugal versus France. All right, okay. A couple more minutes. I'll let you go for Portugal because I know that your heart, of course, bleeds the red and green of Portugal. But I don't think Spain stole this game by any means. And I, for one, am happy that they keep on going in this tournament because I just love Spanish youth soccer. I love playing philosophy and the playing identity. And, you know, I'm going to give you a comparison to the way my Italy plays. It seems like they hold on to the ball sometimes for no particular reason, just for the sake of holding on to the ball without any purpose or intention in mind other than holding on to the ball. And a lot of times it's negative play. What I love about Spain is that they often, of course, they believe in ball possession, but it's always to advance. They're going forward all the time, and having Williams at left wing and Lamela at your right wing, crossing in the balls the way they do. I love the way they play.
There's a difference between possession and the fictive possession. When they have the ball, they want to do something about with the ball. And what it's pretty amazing. It's a guy like Dani Olmo who make a goal and make the pass are not from a Spain school. He's a guy. It's more at the Rip Bull philosophy. He's more a vertical guy, somebody who wants to play quick and not the way that the boys from the La Masia is playing. So
yes, and by the way, speaking of La Masia and Lamine Yamal, who of course is 16 years old and plays for Barcelona, I thought that Spain dipped once they took him out, and he wasn't happy to come out at the 62nd mark. So I'm not so sure. I guess it's also a coach saying, you know what, let me go with a little bit more experience. It's a big game, and I get that, but you know what? I really love that kid. Okay. Germany, I'll end with this as your national anthem of Portugal is playing right now, and then I'll let you go. They could have won this game. How many chances did they miss with Fulcrum and Kai Havertz? It's unbelievable the amount of chances they missed.
I understand that Fulcrum is very effective coming from the bench, but still that Germany team lacks of finishing, and maybe having more Fulcrums at the start could make a difference. You saw the header that he missed. Maybe he missed it, but he didn't have all those the chances that Havertz got before. So maybe we're so used from Germany to have effective strikers, and now having a team without a striker, it looks a little bit weird. But
I think this was a huge missed opportunity for Germany, though. Look, I understand Spain is no pushover, but you're playing at home, you're playing in front of your fans. Portugal has been up and down in this tournament. France has been up and down. Of course, both of them continue to win. They're about ready to play each other here in 1 minute's time. But this is a missed opportunity. I thought that this could have been their tournament to win.
It's hard to play at home. You're seeing with America, with Copa America, it's hard to have the pressure, hard to take the ball and be the master of the field. Sometimes the coaches, maybe with the pressure, play too much as a safe game, not to lose, and thinking more that way, that maybe they need to be more aggressive, take more chances, and doing and having a starting 11 more offensive. But it's not the trending right now, especially on international football. Now the trend is to be very solid defensively and maybe get a goal, and maybe get that goal from the bench, but sometimes it doesn't work.
They're exchanging flags. The game will start in about a minute. CF Montreal, it's usually a CF Montreal show here. They lost 2-0 in New York City. Your thoughts on the loss?
It was it was painful to watch. It was very painful. The way that CF Montreal is playing right now, especially away from home, it's painful. It looks like a team that don't have a clear identity, a clear game plan. And next week, Gabriel Gervais is going to talk. It's a we were waiting for a long time to hear from him, because that team lacks a little bit of not leadership, but maybe a track.
But when was the last time that CF Montreal sent members of the media an email to let them know that 1 week from that email, there would be a press conference? When was the last time that ever happened? I've been covering this team for 22 years. I don't remember the last time.
I think they want to be sure that people will be there, right? Because right now it's
they have a
very
message to give out.
I hope
okay,
so.
They want people to be there, because lately at all their practices and all their Zooms, there's very little participation, and the media has almost forgotten about them.
Because it's summertime, it's vacation time, it's Euro time. Everybody it's away from the club. There's no so much stories. They're losing. So why are you sending some journalists to a press conference towards every time the same thing? So yeah, maybe it's the reason they send a.
Your Portugal is starting in 20 seconds. Go. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Have a nice show.
Beaucoup. You're very good. Thank you. Very, very happy. Well, what a guy, huh? His Portugal is coming on, and he's got a ritual. He's got to watch it. I totally understand. And I said, you know what? I'll make sure that the second the game starts, that you'll be able to watch it. So it's going to start in about 10 seconds. There we go. There's the kickoff, and I'm sure he's watching it right now. All right, okay. Portugal versus France, and this is obviously a biggie here in this tournament. And you know what? I might even give you some live commentary as the game goes on. But for now, I want to get back to, if I can, I want to get back to CF Montreal and their game that they played a couple of nights ago versus New York City on that baseball field, which is absolutely terrible, by the way. I want to talk to you about that, and we'll get to that. But once again, reminding you that the winner of this France-Portugal game will take on Spain, and that game will take place on Tuesday at 3 p.m. England will play Switzerland tomorrow, and so will Netherlands play Turkey tomorrow. And the winners of those two games will play each other on Wednesday, July 10th. And then, of course, the final will take place on Sunday, July 14th. So Sunday, July 14th will be your final. And of course, England, Switzerland, Netherlands, Turkey. I mean, that road to the final is the easier one than a road that actually had Spain playing Germany and Portugal playing France, and then the winners end up playing each other. There's no doubt about it. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. We'll also talk about the Canadians men's national team, which takes on Venezuela tonight at Copa America. It's a 9 p.m. Eastern start. And by the way, Argentina was victorious yesterday on penalty kicks. So Argentina is going to the semifinal, where they're going to play it in New York, actually in New Jersey, pardon me, on Tuesday night. And should Canada win tonight, they will take on Argentina on Tuesday night. And I have to tell you that as I'm saying this right now, I am tempted. I'm tempted to go to that game on Tuesday night in New Jersey. I don't like to drive. Really, I don't. But there's some things that I would drive for. And Canada versus Messi and Argentina would be one of those things. You know what? If I can, let's bring up the starting 11 for CF Montreal a couple of days ago in New York. And of course, reminding all of you that CF Montreal will play the Vancouver Whitecaps at Stade Saputo tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. as the lovely Gina looks over and she gives a smile. She's enjoying Euro 2024. Vanessa's actually waving. What a beautiful thing. Talking soccer in such beautiful company. This is paradise here. Hold on a second. Vanessa's got her purse around her. Don't tell me she's leaving. She's leaving. Oh, no. All right. Okay. She's going to leave her contact info. All right. Very nice of her. We were talking soccer for a while, and that was nice. All right. Okay. Let's get back to CF Montreal if we can. Here's the starting 11 for CF Montreal. It was Sirois in goal with Corbo and Campbell and Sosa. It's a three-man center back with Saliba and Duke in central midfield with Juan as right wing back and Edwards as left wing back. Martinez and Opoku playing behind Sanusi Ibrahim. It was a 3-4-2-1 by Gina, by Vanessa. Nice to talk to you. I hope so. All right. 3-4-2-1 formation for Laurent Courtois side and going up against New York City. Let's take a look at some of the subs that were available for Laurent Courtois. Available subs: Wanyama, Breza, Yankov, who came in for Opoku at the 57-minute mark. Lapalainen came in for one at the 57-minute mark. Alvarez came in for Campbell at the 57-minute mark, and at the 67-minute mark, it was Vilsain who came in for Martinez. Iliadis was on the bench the entire game. Jabang on the bench the entire game. And Kokaru came in at halftime for Sanusi Ibrahim. Speaking of Kokaru, I got to tell you, have you seen what's been going on lately with Kokaru, who was substituted a couple of weeks ago, pulled a fit, didn't like it. Laurent Courtois at that point, not substituted, but he was fouled at practice and didn't like it and took himself off. And there was a little bit of a discussion there that Courtois, I guess, didn't like coming from Kokaru. The next game, he left him off the 18 and he was out of the lineup, but now he was back in the lineup and he was able to play the second half versus New York City. Once again with CF Montreal about to host Vancouver on Saturday night. But I got to tell you this. It's funny because the CF Montreal, they just can't seem to win a game on the road now in the longest time. I don't remember when was the last time they did. But you have to understand, and I had this conversation earlier this morning with a friend of mine, and the conversation is this, okay? The conversation is, it's fine that you have a playing philosophy, and I totally support that playing philosophy. I have no problem, all right? It's all fine and dandy. It's great, and I like the way they play. But the reality is, when you want to pick up points in the standings, there's certain teams that you have to change the way you play, and there's certain fields that you have to adapt your play to a certain style, all right? And you play on the most narrow pitch in New York, right, which is a baseball field. And because of the field being shorter in length and in width, you're automatically going to be in a position where you are going to be pressing. You're going to be on the attack. So you will be high pressing, number one. So number two, you don't have to play your line exactly where you play it. And most importantly, because the other team will automatically be in the high press because of the length of the field or lack thereof, you have to be very careful of playing out of the back. Now, unless you have unbelievable defenders with unbelievable feet, and even at that, any little mistake, the slightest of errors will end up on the opposition's foot, and you're going to give up a scoring chance from in close. And that's exactly what happened on two occasions, notably on the first one when Campbell tries to find Saliba. His pass is away from him. He's unable to get a foot on it or run to it. It's picked off by the other team, and boom, goal. All of a sudden, the ball is in your net. You cannot play that way on that field. And I don't understand whether it was I don't want to call it a lack of preparation because I have too much respect for the coach and the coaching staff to do that. Or let's just call it a strategy gone wrong. Let's just call it look, it's one thing, of course, to stick to your playing philosophy. It's very admirable, okay? Here I am, someone who told you that Wilfred Nancy and his style of play over the last couple of years, it was great, and he never swayed the way they played. But when you're going to be going up against teams that either have so much more talent than you or put so much more money on the payroll than you or playing on a field like that, you have to change the way you play. You just have to. Doesn't mean you're going to change the way you play for the entire season. You're still going to try and stick to your principles, but every now and then you got to tweak a few things. They have to tweak a few things in that game. Anyway, they lost 2-0. It looked like it could have been 4. They don't really have that many scoring chances anymore. And the funny part is that the way the East is, there's a lot of mediocrity in the East. There's a lot of mediocrity, and they have a chance. I got to tell you, they have a chance, actually, that when all is said and done, to end up making the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. Larry has got to go back to work. Larry, why don't you come on camera for a second here? No, come on this side. Come on this. No. You're not going to talk soccer. Just come over here. I want people to see you for a second. So Larry Shapiro used to listen to my radio show, which I had for about 19 and a half years, way back from the beginning, he says. And Larry and I have kept in touch. He's been a Facebook friend, and every now and then we see each other. And he walked into Winnie's and he said, you know what, Tony, I'm just down the block here, and I knew that you were going to be in the neighborhood, and I wanted to come by and see you. And unfortunately, I had a few words with Larry, but I was very, very into the soccer game because I had to talk about it once the game was over. But Larry, the best thing about radio, and I'm doing podcasts right now, and even podcasts, is that at one point we're able to put a face to a name. We end up meeting the listeners. I remember I was able to get you into our season opener for the Habs. It was the launch party type of thing. And you and I met there, and we've had discussions ever since. The best thing about radio is the friendships that are made. And the way I did my show, and I think most people do their show that way, but at least I know the way I did my show is my listeners became friends. And some of them became almost as close as family. And I love to still keep in touch with them. And you're one of those people, and you knew I was in the neighborhood, and you dropped by. So if there's anything you want to say, I'll give you the mic right here.
Well, I have one thing to say, that I've been a faithful listener with Tony way back when he started on the radio. What attracted me to Tony way off the beginning is he reminded me of one of my all-time idols in radio, which was Ted Teven. And we connected way back when he started, and we've been in touch ever since. And it's just a pleasure to come by and support and say hi to Tony. He's the greatest at what he does, and he entertains me to no end every day. So I really thank you, Tony, for your knowledge, your take on sports, and your ability to keep us all knowledgeable when it comes to sports and hockey. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Well, this wasn't planned, because if it was, I would have had an extra mic or an extra headset ready to go for Larry. But thank you so much, Larry Shapiro. And once again, this is the beauty of what we do, folks. It's the beauty of radio. It's the beauty of television, and the beauty of podcasts. And the beautiful thing about podcasting is, of course, I get to put Larry on the camera here, and you're able to see him. Radio, we can't always put on camera, but mind you, more and more radio stations are starting to implement the cameras into their studios, and the ones that haven't are still stuck in the dark ages, but hopefully they'll catch up. But anyway, that's their problem. All right, okay. Portugal and France, we talked to you about the game. It is still scoreless. But CF Montreal, we talked to you about them. And Laurent Courtois was asked a couple of weeks ago, hey, you know what? Do you have a plan for the players who just don't get any playing time? And Iliadis is one, and Duty is another, and Biello is another, and Rita Zuir is another, and Usman Jabang is another. That's 5 that I can think of off the top of my head here. And he said at one point, we will be announcing something, all right? Rita Zuir is in the doghouse. He's in the doghouse. He has been for some time. He's been at odds with the coach. I've known Rita for a long time. Rita has a personality that can be temperamental, and the wires touch every now and then, and he'll tell you what he thinks, and you'll know what he's thinking. Personally, I've always got along with him. I love the young man. He plays with a lot of heart and a lot of fire, and even though his personality is a certain way, I kind of think it's what makes him special when he does play. But when you're a young player and you're trying to get minutes, even though it sucks when you don't, you kind of have to realize that you're not the boss. And the guy that is the boss, you're going to have to do absolutely everything that he says, because you know what? You're probably going to need him a lot more than he's going to need you, because he can rely on a roster of 20 plus more players. So I wouldn't be surprised if Rito Zuier is going to be one of the players that's going to be put out on loan. CF Montreal has been talking about putting players on loan in the CPL or in the USL. And I don't. Rito Zuier was on loan with the USL team in San Antonio last year, and he was one of the top 3 young players in the league. And I don't know if he's going to go back on loan. If he does, I would guess he goes back to the USL. I think it was good for him. Duty is another guy that they got in the MLS draft who has not been able to get minutes, and I would think that they would probably put him on loan as well. Jabang, I think, is another guy that has to go on loan. I'd be surprised if Iliadis goes on loan, even though he went last year in the CPL. Unfortunately for Iliadis, things haven't worked out here. He just hasn't been able, he hasn't had many opportunities. The opportunities that he did have were not overly conclusive. You can say that to his defense, that some of the opportunities as well have been where he's been a little bit out of position and not necessarily more so with the 6/8 position that he was accustomed to playing over in Greece. I would think it's going to be his last year here in Montreal. So I don't think he's going to go on loan though. And another guy I don't think is going to go on loan is Alessandro Biello. I think they made a decision that Biello will be with the first club this year, will travel with the pros, will train with the pros, and he's going to learn the life of a professional. And so I don't think so. But, these young players, they need minutes. I mean, but even at that, there's no guarantees that when you do go on loan that you get minutes. I mean, I think of Matteo Scavoni. I was so happy for him when he was able to get a pro contract and go on loan with Forge FC, where his agent has ties, but maybe he probably just went to the wrong club, because that club is built and wired to actually go for the championship every year. And although some young players get in, it's a veteran heavy team who like to try and finish at the top of the standings and go for the championship every year. And you know what? They've actually accomplished that. I mean, I think they've won the championship 4 of the last 5 years. Other news that came out regarding CF Montreal, and once again, as we speak, I'm watching this live, and it is still scoreless between Portugal and France, a game that started probably about, 12 or 13 minutes ago. So it's still scoreless. And Spain was able to get a winner in the 118 mark versus Germany to win that game by a score of 2-1. So the winner of Portugal versus France will play Spain actually on Tuesday afternoon. CF Montreal announced a couple of days ago that they are conforming to what the MLS is doing. The MLS Next and MLS have changed their age groups for at the academy level, and they're going to 16 and 18. So 15, 16, and 18. So CF Montreal said that they're going to be doing the same thing. They'll be with the 15s in the MLS Next. They'll be with the 16s in the MLS Next, and they'll be with the 18s in the MLS Next, which means it's going to be the final year for their team in League One Quebec, which was supposed to start off as a U23 team a couple of years ago, and but they've got rid of most of their. I think they have maybe 103 left on their team. They have some 04s, they have some 05s, and CF Montreal sent out a press release saying that this is a good move for them, for their club, and for their academy, because MLS is getting more and more young players, and this way you have to fast track them. Okay, that much is true, and I agree with them when they say that, but at the same time, there's still no reason not to have an MLS Next Pro. The fact of the matter is that not everyone develops at the same pace or at the same rate. And some players take a little bit longer. And, even if you're going to get a player who you say, okay, you know what, this player deserves a pro contract, at that point, that player, once again, has to play. We take a look at all the players with CF Montreal that have a pro contract and aren't getting minutes. So when are you going to get the minutes? Oh, you're going to send them out to CPL? Well, when you send them out to CPL, once again, the teams aren't guaranteed to play those players unless those players are really, really good and will help them win. Mind you, there are some clubs in CPL which do have a track record of playing more younger players than others. Maybe, so you might want to target those teams. But when you start sending those players to a CPL team and a USL team, they're no longer under your coaching. They're no longer under your playing philosophy. They're no longer under your identity. They're no longer on your supervision. They're no longer close to you. You can no longer basically track, how they're doing, what they're eating, what they're not eating, what their weight is, what their weight isn't. They're no longer under your help in terms of your physios and your trainers in order to get them back from injury or to evaluate their injuries. So for me, it doesn't make sense. Okay. You have 15 next, you have 16 next, you have 18 next. You don't have MLS Next Pro. You don't want to have MLS Next Pro because you don't want to invest the $4 million, whatever it is. And you don't want the players to be in their contract. Well, geez, I don't get it, man. Like, I really don't. I've said this before, but the owners of this team are in the top 750 wealthiest families in the world. I think they were 715 or 716 the last time I checked. That's the first thing. The second thing is you're announcing advertising deals like every 2 seconds. Now you're even announcing that you've hooked up with a company that makes sandals. Like, I would hope that these sponsors that you're advertising every 2 minutes, I would hope that they're giving you 6 figures each, and you're not doing it on trade for a pair of sandals for each player, okay? And maybe some for the staff and their families. I would hope. But either way, you don't look good. Because if you're doing it for sandals, you don't look good. And if you're doing it for big money and you're not reinvesting it in your club or in your academy, you don't look good either. Hey, so I don't get it. I really don't. The big chance by France, by the way, which was just stopped by the Portugal goalkeeper. We're about 20 minutes into the game, and it is still scoreless, 0-0. We are live at Winnie's. We're on Crescent Street. There were a bunch of people in the place that were here that were watching Spain versus Germany, and there's more and more people that are starting to filter in now watching France versus Portugal. Of course, this could be Cristiano Ronaldo's last game at the Euro. And, the Euro was a tournament that happens every 4 years. Now, before this one, it happened 3 years ago in 2021 because it was postponed for a year because of COVID. So next one now, 2024, but the next one after that will be in 2028. Cristiano Ronaldo is about 39 years old, if last time I checked. So this is his last Euro tournament, folks. Okay, so this could be his last Euro game. And I know Portugal won the Euro already with Cristiano Ronaldo, the year that he actually went out in the final, where he got injured versus France, by the way, when it was Eder who actually scored the game-winning goal for Portugal. But I wouldn't be devastated to see Cristiano Ronaldo win a second one. He's had a great career, and you always like to see great players win. Speaking of great players, Lionel Messi, yesterday with Argentina, they go to penalty kicks. He tries a Panenka. He hits the crossbar, misses his penalty kick, devastated, but his goalkeeper comes up big again in the shootout. And I have to tell you, their goalkeeper, we saw him in the World Cup. This guy, when you go to shootouts versus him, you're losing. You're losing. And now the big news for the Canadians men's national team is if they beat Venezuela tonight, they're actually going to take on Lionel Messi in Argentina on Tuesday in New Jersey. However, a bad blow to the Canadians men's national team a couple of days ago. And here you have it. Canada Soccer can confirm that Tejon Buchanan underwent successful surgery to repair a fractured tibia in Fort Worth, Texas. This was a couple of days ago. We wish Tejon the best in his recovery process and look forward to seeing him back on the pitch. This happened in practice, folks. I repeat, this is devastating. This happened in practice to one of Canada's most talented players. So talented, of course, that he plays for Inter Milan in Italy's Serie A. There was actually a video that the Canadians men's national team put up earlier today, which showed him getting out of a van with his leg, of course, all wrapped up and on crutches, or it was a boot, I believe. It was a boot that he had, and he made his way to see his teammates as they gave him an applause and they welcomed him. But folks, you know what? I believe this Canadians men's national team can win tonight versus Venezuela. And I believe that they can give Argentina a game. They lost their first game of this tournament versus Argentina by a score of 2-0, but they put Argentina in trouble. And Argentina, as this tournament is wearing down, physically, it seems like they are not as fresh. This is a team that has a lot of soccer in them. over the last couple of years. I mean, we can't lose sight of that as well. And some of their better players are older players as well. And Lionel Messi has been taxed. And I think anything's possible. I mean, count me among those who would not be shocked if Canada wins tonight and Canada wins on Tuesday. Now, everyone knows that Argentina is a favorite and they should be in the final, right? And I think a lot of people are expecting Brazil to be in the final as well. But their game versus Uruguay is going to be no pushover. I can tell you that right now. So, well, you know, there's a lot to keep our eyes on. Once again, devastation is in all of Germany as they lost a big game in front of all their fans. They had so many chances. Kai Havertz had several chances. They weren't able to finish, with the exception of Wirtz in extra time, where he ties it up on what was a ball in the air, a header. It goes right to his foot, and he's able to hit it right away, unattended, right off the post. And there was another header, of course, which was the goal by Marino, which was the game winner. The opening goal by Olmo was Lamine Yamal going down the flank in the second half, and he delivers it inside the box. Olmo comes in inside the box, and boom, he's able to just place the ball into the far corner as the keeper, Manuel Neuer, outstretches himself, but he's unable to get a hand on it. And I want to tell you this, and we'll wrap it up here. Once again, this has been a live podcast from Winnie's. Now, Winnie's, traditionally, of course, is not known to be a sports bar. But for those of you who don't know, I will tell you this, that they show a lot of UFC events here, and they show a lot of big soccer events here, and they show a lot of sporting events here. And we're trying to help spread the word that it is a place where you can go watch some of your sporting events. In this game between Portugal and France as we speak, and they were here for Spain versus Germany as well. Once again, the winner of this Portugal versus France game, because I'm watching and you're going to be watching this after the game, it's going to be over a couple of hours from now or later on tonight. We'll take on Spain on Tuesday, and then on Saturday there's England versus Switzerland and Spain versus England versus Switzerland and Netherlands versus Turkey, and the winners of those two teams will end up playing each other on Wednesday. And then, you know what? By Wednesday, we're going to go down to 4. And then, you know, not this Sunday, but the next Sunday will be the Euro 2024 final. And we'll have been down to 2 at that point. Who is going to win the Euro? Well, I had my money on Spain. But I have to tell you that their next game versus the winner of France versus Portugal, it will worry me a little bit. With Carvajal, by the way, sent off with 2 yellows, red card in the game. And Pedri, who got hurt early on in the game. And obviously, that's going to be a little tough to recover from, losing your midfielder there and losing your right back as well. Once again, this was a live podcast, live from Winnie's on Crescent Street, downtown Montreal. I want to thank Elizabeth Farnese for setting it up. I want to thank the good people here at Winnie's for taking care of us. I want to thank Shane Gaumont and Master Control. This has been the Sick Podcast, CF Montreal / Euro 2024 / Canadians men's national team talk, just of course for this tournament of the Euro 2024 and Canada at the Copa America. It is the Sick Podcast. Have a great day, everyone, and a great night, a great weekend. Enjoy your soccer. I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, CF Montreal Talk on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.